Homelessness rates, particularly for women and girls, have worsened during the Albanese government's first term in office. Homelessness Australia says data from the Australian Institute of Health and Welfare shows the number of people accessing homelessness services each month has increased by 10% since May 2022. For women and girls, the increase was 14%. Homelessness Australia Chief Executive Kate Colvin joins us now to discuss this. Kate, can you tell us about this increase and where it's being felt most?
Look, we're seeing this increase across the country, and one of the starkest increases is for women and girls who were already homeless when they first came to a homeless service, and that has increased 20% over this period. And what that shows us is that women are not getting the help they need to avoid homelessness. They're not getting that timely intervention that might prevent a period of homelessness. So they're coming to homeless services already with nowhere to go, perhaps having exhausted friends and family networks to find accommodation and now just have nowhere.
And so, I mean, that's the immediate reason. If we broaden that out, what's feeding into that?
So the biggest issue that we face is that there's just not rentals that people can afford. So, you know, the government has made some really welcome investments in social housing, but the reality is that the problem of in the rental crisis has grown over decades, and the commitments that have been made are not enough to keep increasing the proportion of social housing as a proportion of all dwellings. So what we're calling on this parliament to do, this government to do, is to invest more in social housing so that we get 1 in 10 of all dwellings is a social housing property. And that would just mean that when someone goes looking for a rental, they can find a place they can afford, and they're much less likely to become homeless in that circumstance.
So looking at this trend, I mean, is this likely to continue if there's not that response that you're calling for from the government?
Yes, unfortunately we are seeing things getting worse, and that's having a really devastating impact on the front line of the housing crisis in homelessness services. So services already turn away 72,000 people each year. We know that another 46,000 people can't get through the door because services are so overwhelmed. They've sort of gone on bypass to respond to people who are already seeking help. So, you know, another thing that we're really flagging with the government is the need to invest in homelessness services so that there's someone there to help you when you come looking for help. But the other important priority is to increase income support. I mean, it's not rocket science. If people don't have enough income, they can't afford to pay their rent. And that's a really major reason why people become homeless. And, you know, for women and girls, another major reason is domestic and family violence. So whilst we still have poverty and violence in the community, we will still have homelessness.
Do you have evidence that those calls will be answered?
Look, certainly we've got a good line of communication open with the government. You know, really, as Parliament opens, our call on the government is to make homelessness a top priority. So, you know, we do know that they're considering these issues, but there's a lot of priorities that government are dealing with, and we need homelessness to be top of the agenda because this is a national crisis and it needs urgent national action.